All right, so today I wanted to talk about a time I got kicked out of a party as a sub 5 male. This was back in 2013 when I was around 300 pounds and completely bald. My buddy Nick from high school had invited me to a party at his buddy's place that night. This was a fairly small party. There were probably about 40 people there. I knew a few of them. My buddy Nick, like I said, he went to my high school and we were close back then. And when I had transferred to this university, he tried to include me in parties and various social gatherings wherever he could. He was genuinely a really nice guy, and he was really just trying to help me out. So I get to the party, and I have a few drinks with my buddy, and we start playing some beer pong. As a sub 5, when you're at parties, you're really resigned to the beer pong table. Whether it's really the beer pong table. It's never like Flip Cup or one of the card games if they're ever playing it. The beer pong table, I really felt during that time period, was the only place I could really fit in and have fun. It is a really fun game, and you can kind of play. I could play for hours. One of my buddies, the one summer, we actually played beer pong for like hours. I would come over there on the weekends, and we would just like play for hours on end. And we actually got really good. But after a lot of games, I head over to the keg stand to get some more beer. As I was kind of walking towards the keg stand, there was this pretty attractive girl that had a bottle of Fireball, and she was passing it around to like some people that were in the general area. I guess I was kind of itching to drink some Fireball that night, but I walk up to her and ask her if I could have some. When I did this, she looked at me as if I had like 10 heads. She had this like really shocked, confused look on her face. And, she was like happily pouring it to all the other people that were around her. But for me, she immediately looked like really confused, as if I was speaking like a foreign language to her. And there was some like fairly loud music playing nearby. So in my head, I thought, oh, maybe she didn't hear me. So I said, hey, could I have some Fireball? I said it again. And then she said, what? Like with a really like confused, angry look. And like I said, at the time, I thought it was like just the music, because the music was coming from downstairs in the basement. And this was kind of right near there. And the music was blasted really loud. When she said, what? With a like really confused, angry look, it was like this angry look as if she just sniffed a huge fart. So I asked her for a third time, and this time she heard me, and she said pretty aggressively, yeah, fine, just don't backwash it. And like I said, I must have been really thirsty at the time, and I didn't really take that as a big insult, and so this bottle was like probably halfway empty at this point. She acted like I had asked her for $1 million, and like for the other people, she was like pouring out the shots. And she didn't have a shot glass for me. The moral of the story, as I go to pour some of the Fireball in my mouth, like I made sure not to actually put my mouth on it. I wanted to she didn't want me to backwash it, so I decided to try and do just that. But I guess my hand was a little slippery from playing beer pong. What happened was I accidentally, like, the bottle like kind of slipped out of my hands. I was trying to hold it with two hands as I was trying to like pour it in my mouth, but sometimes when you play beer pong, like your hands can get really slippery. So I ended up like dropping this bottle, and it spilled all over the floor. And the crazy part is the bottle ended up actually like splattering on this girl and her friend. It just splattered on their shoes. Actually, the girl was wearing like a pair of shoes. I think her girlfriend was wearing like heels. But it was all over the place, and it did kind of get all over their shoes and maybe their like ankles. I was really embarrassed. I didn't mean to do this. And also like the bottle like shattered as well. So that was like a triple whammy. The girl immediately yelled, "What the hell?" And her friend, like, this was the craziest part. Like when she flipped out and she was like, "What the hell?" her friend just like threw like her cup of beer all over my chest, like all over my face, like in this like tossing like motion. And this was like purely accidental. Like I really didn't mean to obviously drop this bottle, have it spill and crash all over the floor. It was a pure accident, and I think some people could see that in the room. Yeah, she absolutely flipped out. But by this point, my friend Nick's buddy and a few of his friends came into the kitchen and asked what had happened. And, she immediately yells like, "This guy just dropped my bottle." And then she and her friend just tell me, "Get the hell out of here." It was like crazy. This all happened within a span of like 2 minutes. I tell her and my friend's buddy that like it was an accident, and I was trying to like explain myself, and they were just cutting me off. The girls were cutting me off, telling me to get the hell out. It was just crazy. And then like I told her again, like, "Look, I'm sorry, it was an accident." And then, she says, and I quote, "I don't care, just get out of here, Shrek." When she called me Shrek, like looking back, it really wasn't too far off. Explaining to you like being 300 pounds and being like completely bald that year, I really did look like Shrek. Like I had the triple chin. It really wasn't far off. And this was a girl that I like did not even know, like remotely know at all. And, here she's freaking out on me, telling me to get the hell out, calling me Shrek. So like I was just overwhelmed at that point. I walked down the hallway. I went into the bathroom just to kind of catch my breath. I hear in the hallway, the girl still yelling, "That bald fat guy just broke my bottle. Like get him out of here, kick him out." Like just over and over. And, I just splashed some water on my face, and I pretty much told myself like, yeah, I'm getting kicked out of this party. I was probably going to leave anyway. But immediately, like once I got out of the bathroom, my friend Nick's buddy, was like right there, and he said, "Hey man, sorry, you got to go. Like you got to get out of here." I told him again it was an accident, and I was trying to, explain myself what had happened, but by then he just didn't care. He's like, "Dude, I don't know, man. You just can't be breaking stuff here. Like you got to go." I kind of resigned to leaving the party. My buddy was downstairs in the basement, and there was like a lot of dancing, loud music going on down there. So he didn't really hear what was going on, so he couldn't really back me up. But as I was like walking back through the kitchen, this girl gave me the most piercing death stare that I'll never forget. I'll never forget it. Like it was just crazy. So once I got out of the party, I was kind of like relieved to get out of there. I feel like when you go to one of these like parties, it's so hot in there and like you can barely breathe sometimes. So it felt good to kind of get some fresh air and, kind of walk back to where my car was, and driving home later on that night, I was just really, really upset. And then I got back home and, my dad was still awake. He used to, he always kind of stayed up late watching like, Jeopardy and various TV shows. But he could tell I was very upset at the time. And, I had told him what had happened. And, he told me that, he kind of heard me out. One of the things he said though is like, he said, kind of jokingly, "Oh man, you got to be more smooth next time. If you wouldn't have broken the bottle, you probably would have gotten her number." It was just funny. Like my dad, he's a great dad. I mean, he really like cared about me and always tried to give me like good hearted advice. But at the time I just scoffed because I knew like how untrue that statement was. It's kind of funny, but like, with parents, they always like, I feel like they always want to like protect you and like protect your feelings. So like when something bad happens to you, they don't really tell you the truth. They kind of give you like this like blue pill nonsense, well-intentioned, like blue pill nonsense, because they don't want to make you any more upset. But, it was just really tough. Like, I just specifically remember she was joking and laughing with the other people that she was, pouring shots of Fireball for. But, for me specifically, she treated me like I was like the literal dirt on the bottom of her shoe. And, looking back, I recognize now that I'm black-pilled that she viewed me as very unattractive. And, when I came up and asked her for a shot, her immediate physical reaction was giving me the really grossed out, like confused stink face that I think a lot of sub-5s are just used to seeing at these kind of parties, these types of events. And then she finally obliged to let me have some. Nothing would have probably happened if I didn't, spill and smash the bottle. But because I did, her true nature of finding me very unattractive kind of came out in full force. I think that's the key from like being unattractive for a couple years. You just can't get away with stuff like that if you go to a party or you go to a bar or a club and you spill and break a bottle. Like, people are going to be on you in a heartbeat. You just can't. A more attractive guy could have done the exact same thing and she probably would have still been all over him. But like as a bald fat guy, especially in college, you kind of like unintentionally bring down the vibe of the party. And looking back now, this was like a really easy way for them to kick me out. I don't think my buddy Nick's friends wanted to kick me out, but I think they saw that like the girls were really like upset, and obviously this guy now has to clean up this bottle that I dropped. But it was kind of like an easy way to kick out a sub-5. And of course they're not going to say, hey, we're kicking you out because you're sub-5. But, lesson learned, don't spill bottles at parties as a sub-5 male or things will end badly and you will get called Shrek. I find it really funny that she called me Shrek because at the time, like, that's literally what I looked like. So she really was she was being very hurtful, but she really was just reacting to what she was seeing in the moment. Yeah, well, that really did hurt me to the core that night, but, lesson learned, and, all you can do is just move forward. Well, if you've enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, and if you subscribe, you will never get the stink face ever again. Ha, just kidding. Until next time, guys, take care.